Hello everyone, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Previously, we began the third case, and it's about the Gaviners, Clavier Gavin's band. He gave Apollo and Trucy tickets at a low rate of 20% off. And while visiting backstage, Apollo witnessed a murder. The security guard of a foreign singer who was invited, Romain Lettuce, or Romain Lettuce, was shot and killed. And he delivered his final words to Apollo, so now the place is locked down, everyone's investigating. So, Romain's dying words, he said that the siren was the key. At the time I thought that he was talking about Lemira herself, but no, I caught it in editing. The siren is the name of the song she was singing. Which mystifies me a bit. I think that warrants taking another look at the lyrics sheet. Oh, the guitar's serenade. No, then. It was said that one of Lemira's songs was called The Siren of Something. So maybe it's not this exactly. When you stole away the keys my heart held onto so tight. Bullet of love is a bit on the nose. If these lyrics do tell some evidence here, it might be a matter of revenge, but I don't know. Anywho, we're here with Emma. We should show her more evidence. What about these keys? Sorry. I can't comment on anything not scientifically relevant. I am a forensic scientist, after all. A self-styled one, at least. Okay, are there any prints on the revolver? So this is the murder weapon. This revolver is incredibly heavy. It's been fired twice. You can still smell the gunpowder. That's odd. What's odd? Huh? Oh, nothing. Hey, no fair, tell us. It's just something about this revolver seems strange. Strange? Well, I looked at it and everything seemed normal. Okay, nothing about the brooch. I don't suppose there'd be anything scientific about these. Except for the attorney's badge. You always carry that around, do you? Just like Mr. Wright? Huh? It's good to never let yourself forget who you are. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. Come to think of it, why do I carry this around? Well, I suppose that's one compliment it's got me. I think we saw this last time. So there's something strange about the revolver. Well, it's black. We did investigate the revolver chamber itself. Investigated the tip, the inner barrel. Something strange about this revolver, you say? Wait. Are there any holes in the chamber? Hold on. Oh, there are, just not on that side. Huh. Is that... It's probably just some limitation of the visuals. Okay. So, Emma, let's talk. Tell me about the victim. Mr. Romain Lettuce, wasn't it? He was Lemira's manager, and interpreter, apparently. This was his first time in the country. So I'm guessing he didn't know many people here. It doesn't seem likely. Nor can I think of anyone with a motive to murder him. Except for one person, of course. One person? Who? Lemire. No one here might have had a motive, but she's from... What are you talking about? Hey, it was Emma's idea. I said nothing. Munch, munch, munch. Always with the snacks. He's a big man. For you. Or was. I don't think even I would win in a fight with him. Which is why whoever it was used a revolver, I'm guessing. We've sent a request to the Borginian embassy for more info on him. Well, that's good. Well, you and I know more about the crime than anyone. You do? That's true. It was us who found the body. What? Humph. I guess that's what I miss for watching the concerts. Hey, I wish I was watching the concert. Anything would be better than this. Well, we know the crime took place during the concert. And when we heard the shot and entered the room, the killer was already gone. Wait, come to think of it, wouldn't this completely absolve Lemire, Charcuterie Guy, and Machi Tobai? Wait, no. Lemire and Machi, or Maki, however you pronounce it, they weren't in Act 3, were they? They only performed for Act 2. So Charcuterie Guy, who's part of the Governors, was performing on stage during Act 3. That is an airtight alibi. So it's either those two, or perhaps another person we might meet later. The killer was already gone. What? But that doesn't make sense. You came in when you heard the shot, and no one was here? How did they leave the room? Wait. Come to think of it, I just noticed that the no parking sign on the red door in the back is gone. Hello. That window is a little too small, isn't it? The mystery of the disappearing killer. What do you think about this revolver? Well, it's pretty big and heavy. I think it might belong to Romain Latouche. I think that might be his gun. That's right, it's a .45 caliber. That makes it one of the deadliest revolvers around. Oh, yes it does. Even the police don't carry guns this big. Really? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You don't need so much power to kill at such close range. It's overkill. I'm not sure I see the problem. I mean, whenever I go out to eat curry, I order it extra spicy just to be sure it's spicy. Of course, I can only ever eat 1 or 2 bites. And that's not a problem? There's another thing about a gun this big. It puts a lot of strain on the shooter. Strain? Yeah, say, if you were to fire this revolver, the recoil would probably dislocate your shoulder. Ouch! It's like the shooter's a victim too. Man, I have dislocated my kneecap a few times. I have very loose kneecaps. Inherited from my grandfather. Oh man, I heard a story once where he went skiing, my grandfather, and he took a fall. Oh man, okay, wait, I don't actually even want to say how bad his knee dislocation was. Just because I might squick out my audience, but it was bad. This was before my mother was born even. Yeah, I've dislocated my kneecap, I think, 3 times. I think the very first was when I was at the birthday party of some fellow kids. I want to say it was a friend of my mother's child. I didn't know them too well. I was just invited for reasons. I called a pig pile on myself, and so a bunch of kids leapt on top of me, and the sheer weight of it made my kneecap dislocate. Oh my god, it hurt. And I left the party immediately because I wanted to go home after that. Oh my god. The second time, I was just standing around in my kitchen, holding a glass of water in my hand. I was just standing around looking at the window. I shifted my weight in, I guess, the wrong way, and my kneecap dislocated. That's... Oh man. That one I had to pop back into place myself. Oh man. Well, I can tell you that dislocating joints hurts. Worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. Yet the killer used this revolver, and quite well. I'm guessing whoever did it was used to shooting. Used to shooting a high-caliber weapon. Huh. Well, that's about it. I think we've looked at just about everything there is. I guess you're right. I know how you're feeling. It is hard to know when to stop. But anything more involved has to wait until the squad gets here. I suppose. I'll go report the evidence. Sorry, but could you wait here till I get back? Oh, actually, we have to... Great, thanks! She left. What do we do, Apollo? She told us to wait. Great, now how am I supposed to investigate? Oh well, I guess it can't be helped. Let's go. Go? Time's a-wasting, Apollo. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Well, that's true, but... On second thought, why not? I'm sure everything will be fine. Of course it will. Let's go. I want to take a last look at that door. Nope, can't see anything on it. Interesting. So taking a look at this, I gotta remember everything that's here. In case it's not fine, we gotta notice and see if anything specific is missing. Like, yeah, look at that. The revolver is right near Romaine's right hand. That's totally his gun. I know Emma said that he was shot with 45 caliber bullets, but it must be some other gun that did it. It has to be. Right, let's move. Back to the hallway. Oh my god, it's the idol? That has to be the magician guy from the portrait in the Write Anything Agency office. He was dressed he was dressed just like Trucy. Or rather, maybe Trucy is dressed just like him. We didn't just imagine that, did we? He was wearing a silk hat. Friend of yours? Hardly. Whoever that was, he sure looked suspicious. Oh. I need answers? Okay, can we pick up this freaking thing added to evidence yet? What's that? It looks like some kind of future phone. Yeah, we've read this. Why can't we submit that to evidence? That is baffling. But, fine, I guess. Anything new in Gaviner's dressing room? Yes, there is. Huh, looks like nobody's here. Oh, that's... Oh, okay. That's the door with the parking symbol on it. Okay. My mind blended the rooms together. Prosecutor Gavin's probably busy with the case, too. No rest for the wicked. No rest for us either, Apollo. Let's get rocking. Rock, rock. Fine, fine. Back to the hallway and into the new location. Which would be the stage. Oh. For a moment I was like, did the stage fall over? But no, I think it's meant to be that way. Okay. Nothing immediately jumps out to me other than perhaps the fact that Maki Tobayi had the easiest route off stage. Because he was on the piano. Huh. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Octon. You ain't kidding. It's the two leading members of the Gaviners, Apollo. Clavier on vocals and Daryan on guitar. They're so cool. I have a hard time thinking of Clavier as anything but a prosecutor, honestly. Huh? What are they arguing about? Probably the case, I'd bet. My hog won't start. My guitar case is busted. His case? My guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? Hey man, don't blame me. You were the one who missed the cue. Me? Miss a cue? How could I conceivably get the most important part of that song wrong? How? And what was all that tinny playing of yours? Who you callin' tinny? Sounds like they're having a spat. One of those differences in musical direction bands are always splitting up over. This is hardly the time. Huh? What are you two doing here? Hiya. We were just discussing the investigation, if you don't mind. Sorry, wait. You were what? Listen. You need to confirm that with the Republic of Borginia, Detective Crescent. Wait. Does everyone in this band lead a double life? He's a detective? Daryan Crescent. Daryan Crescent. Daryan Crescent. If that's a pun, I'm not getting it either. Right. Anything else? What did you just call him? Detective? Ah, greetings. Someone is clearly compensating for something. Daryan Crescent, Criminal Affairs, Division 3. Hello? Criminal Affairs? Apollo, you really don't know anything about the Gaviners, do you? Something tells me that's about to be remedied. Right. Let's have a look at everything. Is this the ruined guitar case? Now that's a big instrument case. That's a case for a contrabass, I think. Contrabass. You could fit 20 violins in there, I bet. It may look like a violin, but it's a completely different instrument. You could fit 5 truces in there, I bet. Hey, are you comparing me to an instrument? I wonder who left it sitting open like that. fit 5 trucies in it, you say? I wonder if that's a red herring or if someone was actually smuggled into it. Look, a ladder. I guess I need one to work on the lights and such. Why don't they use a stepladder? I prefer stepladders, really. Is that so, Ron? Not Ron, just, well, why do you prefer stepladders? They're so much more flexible than plain old ladders. I prefer my ladders rigid and stable, thank you. What a big stage! It's on a whole other scale than the Wonder Bar. The lights are so bright I couldn't see the whole first part of the concert. I'd love to do my act on a stage like this someday. Just hold back on the lights for my eyes' sakes, please. You'll be too blinded by my magic to worry about lights. You probably don't want to blind the audience if you plan on showing them magic. The piano. Wow, that piano looks much bigger close up. Maki played so beautifully. Yeah, like a real pianist. What do you mean Laika? He is one. That's just silly, Apollo. How can you call someone as good as Maki a pianist? Why, that's like throwing him in the same class as Daddy. Good thing Mr. Wright didn't hear that one. Look at all these electronic devices. I'm guessing they have something to do with sound. Why guess when we can fiddle? Let's see here. Don't touch that. A healthy curiosity is the key to a good investigation. When in doubt, fiddle. That's what Daddy always says. You should require parental testing, clearly. Oh man. Suppose that's everything. Right, he might move on if we talk to everything, so let's present some stuff. Bare forehead. Yeah? Understand that I am not Prosecutor Gavin now. I am lead vocal of the Gaviners. That badge sings a different song, on a different stage. Right. Wish I had an alter ego to hide behind sometimes. How about the revolver? Sorry, but I'm not in the mood to talk about that right now. Even I can only take so much in one day. Funny, I always thought of Prosecutor Gavin as one of those cool stoic types. The sort that never complains. How wrong I was. Maybe it's a bad idea to talk to him. Man, in the original trilogy, you could present people. But you can't in this game, can you? How weird. About the crime. Which crime do you mean? The murder, what else? Oh, that. Oh, today has been a hit parade of crimes, you see. Prosecutor Gavin was singing the blues earlier, wasn't he? Something about his hog and his guitar case? Anyway, I'm afraid you know more about the killing of Mr. Latouche than I do. For now, at least. Huh? You were the one who found the body, yeah? Well, we were in the middle of a performance, no less. Aren't you going to examine the crime scene, Prosecutor Gavin? I'll leave that to Fraulein Detective. Wouldn't want to step on her toes. They're not exactly best buddies, are they? Emma and Prosecutor Gavin, I mean. Well, what to do next? We've already checked out the scene. Prosecutor Gavin may be right. We might be the most informed for once. Maybe Prosecutor Gavin can shed some light on things we found. Oh, well, maybe I should show him stuff. I don't believe you, Apollo. How can you come to this concert and not know about the Gaviners? It's not surprising. Why, even our ancestors knew nothing of America's existence once. Right. America. I know America exists. The Gaviners aren't just an average rock band, Apollo. Each member is connected to the police somehow. The police? The real police. By day they pack heat, but by night they heat up the stage. By day those lips interrogate, by night they sing songs of unrequited passion. Okay. They debuted 7 years ago with 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Then came Love with No Chance of Parole and My Boyfriend is a Prosecution's Witness. The list of hits goes on and on. This here is my right-hand man, Darien Crescent. I make the melodies and he attacks them with his guitar. Attacks them? He's a bit of a rogue, really. And this guy's a bit of a perfectionist. When a performance goes the least bit wrong, he goes into this funk. Just like today. I'd hope murder would be a bit more off-putting than a ruined concert. The concert today? A disaster. I'll get to the bottom of this and then we'll see who missed a cue. You don't suppose... No. The missed cue. They were arguing about that before. Great. I love nothing more than questioning tormented artists. What's this missed cue you keep talking about? You heard it, didn't you? From the audience? Actually, I didn't notice anything. See, no amateur... Oh my god, it's so wobbly. See, no amateur is gonna pick up on that. Can you guarantee an entire audience of amateurs? No. Now take a listen to this. What's that? A mixing board. We used it to record our concert tonight. Aren't we supposed to be investigating a murder? Well, we've come this far, might as well go all the way. I've always wanted to learn about the recording industry. Guilty love. This is but one of the devices used in recordings. We're a 5-part band. This lets us record each member's performance separately. You use the sliders to adjust the volume for each part. Check it out. Huh. I see. Wow, neat! So, could you say here only the drum part? Of course. That's how we'll find the criminal guilty of missing his cue tonight. I'm more concerned with the other criminal. The one who kills people? You want help on the case? Then help with mine. I guess rock and roll comes before prosecuting. Let's begin. First, we bring up the part of the performance in question. You simply choose the section of the song you wish to hear of the bottommost bar. Like so. There it is. Now, listen. Uh-huh. Was something wrong? You couldn't hear it? Listen again, closely. The timing's a little off, isn't it? Barely? I think it was like the high-pitched noise. Or maybe the drum. You see? There, right at the most important part. And even an amateur can hear it. An amateur with a mixing board, maybe. You're missing the point. We'll never stamp out crime until we're perfect. Perfect. Here he goes again. Right. Herr Amateur, you will prove my point. Huh? Me? You will find the missed cue. You will tell us which instrument, which part is the guilty party. But how? Did I not just explain it? Use these sliders to adjust the volume for each part. Then you'll find the part that hopelessly bungles the cue. You'll find it with your untrained amateur ears. Nothing to do but try, Apollo. I guess. I'll admit, this looks kinda fun. First, a quick review. Use the sliders to adjust volumes. Press a section of the song you wish to hear on the bottom bar. Sliders on the bar, got it. Once you've found the guilty part, press the corresponding number. Time to rock. Okay, so it is in the last section, huh? Let's move everything to 0 and take this one by one. So only the guitar first. Oh. Sounds good to me. Okay, that's very suspect. Oh. Okay, these two are identical. Or not. Okay, one of these two is off, I think. That's okay. That's good. So now we need to figure out which of these syncs up. That sounded okay. Uh-huh. Now how about this? Oh! No, actually, this sounds way better. And this... I think it's this one. Yeah, let's go with number 2. This part is off. Which is that? Second guitar. It was you, Daryan. Ah, well, looks like the cat's out of the bag. Ah, well, that's all you have to say? That kind of attitude lets killers walk free, Daryan. Here they go again. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask about the concert. It's starting to feel like we're just wasting time. It's all experience under our belts. That can't be bad. I can't imagine why Daryan would miss a cue. Maybe he heard the gunshots and was thrown off a bit? I don't know. I still can't get over the title for that song. Guilty Love? Let's present a few things. How about the brooch? Not in that. The keys? Ah. I was wondering if you knew anything about this. That. Does it look familiar? Familiar? It's mine. That's my key ring. Ah, crap. Where was it found? I've been looking all over for it. What? This is yours, Mr. Gavin? Wait. Wasn't Latouche holding this in his hand? I knew it. Apollo? How can you make that I knew it face? This is the keyring that was... Yeah, I know. Thanks anyway. So, where did you find it? Actually, the victim was holding it. Like he was trying to keep it from the killer, even if it meant his life. What? What? The victim? You mean Mr. Latouche had my keys? Indeed. When will my trials be over? Speaking of trials, I've never heard Mr. Gavin whine in court like he has been today. Emma was right about that fop, I'll give her that. Apollo! Mr. Gavin, maybe we can help. Tell us about your troubles today. I really don't think that's... Tell us! And we'll keep mum about the keyring for now. Are you blackmailing me, Fraulein? How about the mixing board? Okay, nothing there. So about your troubles. You were saying something about your motorcycle not starting. And something about your guitar case being busted? You're well informed. We heard you. You mentioned it a few times. It all happened this morning. It's all this keyring's fault. The keyring? It's got all my keys on it, yeah? So the guitar case, the keys to his motorcycle, and some third key, perhaps to the dressing room? Car key. Okay, so he has a car too. My bike key, my car key, and the key to my guitar case. Wait, so this key ring... It disappeared. Oh, the guitar case had to be busted up because they needed to bust it open to get it for the sake of the concert. That's probably it. So because his guitar caught fire, someone clearly must have tampered with his guitar. But why? I thought I'd put it in my jacket pocket. Prosecutor Gavin's keyring disappeared? I had to come to the concert by taxi. How embarrassing. And in order to get my guitar out, I had to break the lock. Wait, this guitar wasn't the one that... The very one. Up in flames. And right on stage, too. I actually thought that was part of the show. Crazy. And to top it off, Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Nobody told me about days like these. Strange days indeed. You think? What's wrong, Trucy? Well, I was just trying to make sense of everything. First, this heart-shaped keyring gets stolen. Then a very expensive guitar flares up on stage. Then Mr. Latus dies. Yes, and? Could it all really be just a coincidence? Coincidence? Meaning? Darian, can you make any sense of all this? Hey, don't look at me. What do you think, Apollo? Uh-huh. I mean, either Mr. Gavin's having a really bad day, or all this was planned. You aren't thinking what I think you're thinking. Are you, Fraulein? I am. What? What? Hey, don't leave me in the dark with Spike here. The name's Apollo, but yeah, I agree. Don't leave us in the dark. What are you talking about? Haven't you noticed a connection, Apollo? A curious connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles today? Well, I haven't noticed. You haven't? I just don't see the connection, sorry. Well, don't just give up, give it a little more thought. Wait, you don't mean this, do you? Wait, the lyrics? The jacket pocket, right over his chest. I saw it. I saw it just now. The keys were in his chest pocket, right over his heart. A fleeting melody wraps itself around me, and now I fly. Through the air I fly. Okay, stolen keys, burning guitar, bullet of love fired at romaine lettuce, take my life away, the murder, guitar, up together to the sky. But what is this? A fleeting melody, it wraps itself around me. And now through the air I fly. This doesn't sound like a locked guitar case thing. This seems like something that's missing from all this. A lyrics sheet? The guitar's serenade? What's that got to do with anything? It has everything to do with everything. Though I wouldn't have believed it if the Fraulein hadn't pointed it out. What are you talking about, man? Enough with the riddles. Maybe it is a coincidence, or perhaps it means something. Don't you think, Fraulein? I do. Everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin today is predicted in the lyrics to this song. What? No way. Look, just think about everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin. Let's list them in the order that they occurred, while reading this lyrics sheet. First, the keyring was stolen. And not just any keyring, a heart-shaped keyring. Oh. Okay, that's a bit more obvious, sure. That's right here. When you stole away the keys my heart held onto so tight. This is a heart holding the keys. And next, his guitar burst into flame. Burning on in my heart, fire burned my love away. And then Mr. Latus was killed. Like a bullet of love, fire take my heart away. But that's crazy. Yeah, no kidding. So everything that happened today here, this song predicted it all? Or perhaps it was the other way around. Huh? The criminal could have based his crime on the lyrics. But who would go through all that trouble? Someone who moves in mysterious ways, no doubt. I believe you've stumbled on something quite vital and quite annoying, Fraulein. She looks pleased. The lyrics predicting the crime. Clavier? Seems a bit more than just a coincidence to me. I have to agree. The keyring, the guitar, and the murder. The keyring might have been dropped by accident. Yet the victim was holding it. Hard to think that it was unconnected. That's true. Prosecutor Gavin's as calm and collected as ever. So the criminal matched their actions to the lyrics? That sounds likely. Why would anyone do that? While we think about that, I'm going to get cracking on the biggest crime here. I'm going to talk to the Borginian embassy about this Mr. Latouche. Ah, right. Thanks, Darian. I'll leave the pondering of mysteries to you. I'm out of here. So wobbly. A foreign national, Mr. Latouche, was killed. It seems like he would have to be the point of all this. But they did more than that. They left us with not only a murder, but a mystery. Mr. Gavin sure is irritable today. Maybe this is the real Prosecutor Gavin we don't get to see in the courtroom. I've had enough, frankly. If you find any more mysteries, do me a favor. Keep them to yourselves, yeah? Yeah? I guess this is all we're going to get from Prosecutor Gavin. That leaves Lemire to question. Prosecutor Gavin, do you know where Lemire is now? I had her go to my dressing room. With that pianist, Maki Tobaye, of course. She seemed rather shocked by Mr. Latouche's sudden passing. The Governor's dressing room. Got it. Okay. See you later, Mr. Gavin. Or as one lovely comment said, Clavgav. That's a keeper. Clavgav. So, where did Mr. Yellow Magician go? Piss Wizard. Who's there? There he goes again. Who is that guy? Piss Wizard. Huh? Trucy? You know, he did look sort of familiar. So he is a friend of yours? No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember. Curiouser and curiouser. Well, after him! The stadium's been cleared out. There's a scene of a crime nearby. Talk to the mysterious Piss Wizard. Well, whatever. Can we add this drop thing to evidence, please? I am truly baffled by their lack of interest in that. Anyway. Lemire! What has happened? So she can talk? Huh. I heard that Mr. Latouche has died. Lemire, you speak? I mean, you speak English. Yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Borginia, but I am not Borginian by birth. But wasn't Mr. Latouche your interpreter? That must be a cover story. Yes, well, it was Mr. Latouche's idea. He thought it would add to the mystery, you see. Oh, it's a stage act. Then your pianist is also... No, Machi Tabaye is Borginian. He does not speak English. Ah. Now, please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latouche? Why did he... Actually, Mr. Latouche was... Trucy. Huh? Remember what Prosecutor Gavin said. Not a word. But... Mr. Latouche is Lemur's manager. That's not fair to her. I mean, isn't she a related party? Precisely who Prosecutor Gavin doesn't want to alert, I'd suspect. All we have been told is to wait here, in this room. It is very unsettling. I'm sorry, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think I could ask you some questions? Of course. I am always willing to help. She's as calm as she looked on stage. I can't put my finger on why, but I like this Lemur. What is it, Maki? What? But you'd be alone. What seems to be the problem? Maki, he is not good around strangers. He wishes to go out for a breath of fresh air. Would that be all right? Sure, of course. What, so we can dispose evidence? Very well. What is it you wish to ask me about? Ooh. Theme of Lemur. Pretty. Before we talk to you with these three, probably have to save that for next video, let's present some stuff. First, my badge. Would you mind taking a look at this, Lemur? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to say. I wish I could help you. Don't worry about it. Certainly one of the most pleasant refusals I've had. So, about the postcard. Okay, nothing to say about that. The lyrics sheet. Nothing there. The brooch. That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you? My brooch? Yes. Well, it may be mine. Yours, Lemur? I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. I must have lost it. Well, that explains the brooch we found. It was Lemur's. Thank you. I was wondering where I dropped it. So this brooch belongs to her. That begs the question. Is something wrong, Apollo? What was this brooch doing at the crime scene? Well, it was her dressing room, but... Nothing to say about that. Nothing to say about that. And nothing to say about the mixing board. Okay, that's everything. In which case, we'll save talking to her for next time. I think Maki Tabayi is not in fact blind. For two reasons. One, they clearly made up something to add to the mystique and appeal, which would be Romain Latouche's quote-unquote bodyguard role. He wasn't actually an interpreter. He was probably just security. A bodyguard. So that they made that up to be more mysterious and cool. I think that Maki Tabayi also is lying about being blind. The second reason is because Lemire just let a blind child walk around a crime scene unattended, alone, without a walking stick or anyone else nearby. Like, it's one thing if a person was familiar with the territory, but they're from overseas. Maki is Virginian. This is his first time in the States. There's no way he could possibly know his way around here on his own. He'd just be bumping into everything. Especially in that hallway filled to the brim with extra stuff. So yeah, I think Maki is not blind. And that might be a critical point we'll have to uncover in court. So I really do struggle to think of why Darien missed his cue. It could be that he heard gunshots that might have thrown him off a bit. Maybe. But I just don't know. Mysteries abound. So, there's also that piss wizard who is walking around. God, where did I even pick up the name Piss Wizard? It's a reference to something I once saw. I assure you nothing of, weird, suspect nature. It was a joke in some comic, maybe. I don't know. Well, whatever. Whoever that guy is, he's very suspicious. And I find it very weird that Apollo and Trucy aren't super suspicious of him, because... why? Why is that man here? We need to talk to him. But maybe we'll save that for next time. For now, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.